One of the things I love the most about this series is getting the chance to run with Pokemon that generally wouldn't be on a Generation 2 team. Xatu more than fits this criteria, as it's tucked away in a single optional area through the bottom floor of a cave you've already been through much earlier on in the game. Now it's Xatu's chance to live up to its ability as it becomes an early bird. And as we're getting ourselves prepared to run Xatu, I want to thank everybody who popped into the 5,000 subscriber special stream. It was an awful lot of fun and chaos seeing how the 6 slowest Pokemon on our leaderboard fared working together as a team. I definitely enjoyed that stream, even though it was a lot more mentally taxing than I was prepared for. And if you enjoyed that stream and want to see more just like it, please do click the subscribe button. And if you're having fun in this video, please do think about leaving a like. Every single like pushes this video to more people who might have a good time as well. And with the prep work out of the way, we can now take a look at the stats of our Natu. We are level 5 with 20 HP. We're holding a berry and our moves are Peck and Leer. We've got 10 in attack, 10 in defense, 12 in special attack, 9 in special defense, and 13 in speed. They're the stats of the Pokemon we're running with. Let's see how we get on in the early game. We get the potion from Professor Elm's aid, and as always I will show you the very first encounter we get with a wild Pokemon. This time it's a level 2 Rattata and it's just 2 hits to knock it out, and we can make our way towards Mr. Pokemon's house. And as we're making our way there, I've got a question for all you lovely people. Would you like to see more streams like the last one, where we take a full team of Pokemon around the Johto region, and instead of fighting against a timer, we're fighting against the level cap? So please do let me know down in the comments as we take on our first rival battle. And I'll take this opportunity to tell you I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Cyndaquil with Natu. And the reason I chose Cyndaquil is because the Totodile line learns some Dark-type moves via level up. But with the first rival battle all taken care of, we can head back to the Pokemon lab, and we can tell the police officer that the rival's name is Triple Question Mark. I get an awful lot of comments saying that other people call him Triple Question Mark as well and have done since they were kids. It's been an on-running thing for me for many years, and I'm very happy that it's not just me doing it. But now let's leave the lab, make our way back through Cherry Grove City and head into Violet City. We've got a couple of bits and bobs to do here in Violet City, and the first thing to do is take on Sprout Tower. We have the super effective move against most of the Pokemon in here, so it makes sense to get it out of the way earlier on. We can level up against this set of Bellsprout as well, and at level 10 we learn our first level up move. This one is Nightshade, and Nightshade deals damage equal to our level, so that could be very handy early on but will soon become quite useless. But now that we've got Flash, we can make the way into the gym and take on Falconer. He's our first gym leader together, a flying type specialist who leads with Pidgey. We're going to peck the Pidgey and knock it out in 2 shots, including an unnecessary critical hit. We Leer the Pidgeotto on turn 1 and that turns it into a 2-shot as he crits us, and we knock it out to get the first badge in a time of 8 minutes and 6 seconds. That's not bad going at all, seeing as we did very early Sprout Tower, but now we must leave Violet City and head towards the Union Cave. We're going to grab that all-important Paralyzed Cure Berry en route, and there's only one thing for us to pick up in Union Cave this time, that's TM39, which is Swift. Swift won't be a stab move for us this time, but it's still a very good normal type move, so it's very handy to have on the learn set. And just before we do anything in Azalea Town, we're going to pop into the forest and pick up our HM friends. First off the block today is Psyduck. Psyduck's going to be helping us out with Surf, with Strength, with Whirlpool, and with Waterfall. Psyduck is one of the handiest Pokemon you can have in these runs. It saves having to have multiple Pokemon for your Water and Normal type HMs. And of course the second Pokemon we're going to get is Paris. Paris is going to be helping us out with Flash, with Dig and Cut, and if we need it a little later on, they'll also help out with Sweet Scent. But with both of them acquired, we can head into the gym, and just before taking on Bugsy, we're going to teach Swift. And Bugsy, of course, is our second gym leader together. He's a bug-type specialist who will lead with Metapod. Metapod is an easy 2-shot with Peck, and we are already on to the Scyther. Scyther comes out second because Fury Cutter is neutral, except we just peck it a couple of times and it goes away. We get the option to learn Teleports, but we'll have an Abra for that later on. It's a 1-shot on the Kakuna, and that means that we have defeated Bugsy and obtained the Hive badge in a time of 15 minutes and 58 seconds. Of course, we cannot celebrate for too long because straight after Gym 2 is Rival 2. This one is one of the trickiest rival battles in all of the run, so let's see if we can get through it first time. Of course, Ghastly has super effective Lick against us, but Hypnosis misses instead, and we're on to the Zubat. We get very lucky because Supersonic misses as well, and that just leaves Croconaw. Croconaws Water Gun isn't doing too much at all against us because we've got relatively good special defense. We just peck it to make it go away, and we're through the second rival battle on our very first try. Defeating the rival for the second time lets us get through into the Ilex Forest where the Charcoal Maker is waiting for us. We rescue his Farfetch'd and chop down that tree, and that lets us go all the way to Goldenrod City. Just south of Goldenrod we catch our third friend of the run. This one is Abra, who's going to be helping us out with Teleport. It's budget fly in the early game but can save a lot of time later game. We're going to grab the bike in Goldenrod City as we always do so we can increase our movement speed, and then it's time to pick up Kenya. Kenya's our fourth and final HM friend of the run. Kenya, like Abra, is a one-move wonder, but Fly is invaluable in these runs. When we did the 5,000 subscriber special, we had neither Fly nor Teleport, and goodness me, it was rough walking everywhere. My legs were aching very badly. We'll go into the National Park and pick up Dig, we'll have a chat with Floria, and we'll make our way back towards Goldenrod City. There's not much left to do in Goldenrod, so we'll go into the gym and we'll take on our only mandatory trainer of the gym. It's Les Carey with a Snubble, and Snubble does have bites. That deals a little bit of damage, but we get a very lucky critical hit. We grow to level 25 and we evolve into Xatu. Xatu has a nice buff in base stats as you can see on screen, and let's see if that buff in base stats is enough to take on Whitney. She is our third gym leader together, a normal type specialist who leads with Clefairy. We peck the Clefairy and take it deep into the yellow, but she takes off a little bit of HP with Double Slap. Out comes the cow and it instantly starts to roll. Rollouts keeps building and building and building, and we don't get a chance to finish it off. So we're back to square one with the Clefairy, and this time it uses Jump Kick. Jump Kick, of course, we quad resist, and we get a critical hit on the Miltank. We are in a much better position this time as Rollout only takes us down to 23 HP, and we get the badge on our fourth attempt. That's the plain badge acquired in a time of 24 minutes and 40 seconds, and for having 4 resets at this gym, that is a very good time. So let's now head into the flower shop and pick up the Squirts bottle from the eavesdropping so-and-so, and then we're going to use that Squirts bottle to shoo away the pesky Sudowoodo that's been blocking the way between us and Ecruteak City. Now that we're in Ecruteak, we'll go straight into the Kimono Girls Dance Theatre, and because we have the type disadvantage against Jolteon, I'll show you the battle against this one. We go for Swift and deal over half health, Thundershock barely tickles us, and another Swift finishes it off. Our reward, of course, for defeating the Kimono Girls is Surf from the man staring at the stage, but we're not going to use that quite yet. Instead, we're going to take the long way to the Lake of Rage, where we're going to grab the rare candy and get some much needed type coverage. This is, of course, where we pick up Hidden Power, and our Hidden Power type for this run is Ice. There are a few battles where Hidden Power Ice comes in very, very handy, and it's also really good for neutral coverage against a lot of pesky Pokemon in this run. We'll make our way to Olivine City picking up the Bitterberry en route. We'll get strength from the man in the cafe, and then we'll teach Hidden Power while we're in the lighthouse. Hidden Power, of course, is going to be replacing Nightshade. We're at that point now in the run where Nightshade is surplus to requirements, so we might as well have a much better attacking move. We talk to Jasmine, who asks us to do a little bit of smuggling, but we're going to keep her waiting. Instead, we're going to go all the way back to Ecruteak and into the Burnt Tower. In the Burnt Tower, our third rival battle is waiting for us. And because of our typing this run, we actually have to take the rival quite seriously. He leads with Haunter this time, and we use Hidden Power against it. Hidden Power isn't quite a one-shot, and he manages to get a curse off on us. Up next is Magnemite, and we have nothing really good at all for the Magnemite. We're able to take it down in 2 Hidden Powers though, and that brings us onto the Croconaw. Again, we don't have anything too great against the Croconaw, and we just keep getting cursed. So we're going to have to take a reset and try again. And on this attempt, something very strange happened. He withdrew the Haunter to send out Magnemites that then proceeded to not deal any damage at all against us. Then he sends out Croconaw because he sees he's got a super effective move. That super effective move only takes off 26 HP from us. We grow to level 32 as he sends out the Haunter once more. We use Peck against the Haunter to take it deep into the red, and he doesn't curse us. That brings us onto the Zubat, and because I was so confused, I misclicked and didn't hit Hidden Power. Lost a couple of seconds, but we were through the rival in a very, very easy fight. I'm still confused about that battle even now. I can't figure out why the AI did what it did. It's definitely not done anything like that in any recent run, and it really threw me. But we mustn't linger too long on that rival battle. Instead, let's turn our focus to Morty, our 4th gym leader together. He's a ghost type specialist who leads with Ghastly. Ghastly is an easy one-shot with Peck, and we're on to the Haunter. Haunter uses Nightshade instead of cursing us, and that makes the rest of the battle an awful lot easier. We hidden power the Gengar as he tries to send us to sleep, but the Minceberry kicks in and we can get rid of that in 2 hits, and the final Pokemon is Haunter. Just another 2 shots to defeat the Haunter, and we get the Fog Badge in a time of 37 minutes and 24 seconds. Considering we had the type disadvantage there, I don't think we could have asked for a better battle. And talking of type advantages and disadvantages, we're going to make our way over to Cianwood City where our 5th gym waits us. That's a fighting type gym, and we have a 4 times resistance to fighting type moves. Before getting to Chuck though, we take on Black Belt's Knob. Black Belt Knob has a Machop, and off this Machop we grow to level 35. This is where we learn our next level up move, so it's goodbye to Leah and hello to Future Sight. Now, even though Future Sight is listed as a psychic type move, it deals typeless damage, and that can come in very handy against certain Pokemon later on. But now we're through Black Belt Knob, we can take on our 5th gym leader together. This is Chuck, the fighting type specialist who leads with Primeape, and this gym is going to be very, very easy. We have the quad resistance against fighting type moves, we one-shot the Primeape, we don't get sent to sleep by the Poliwrath, we knock it out in 2 pecks and get the Storm Badge in a time of 39 minutes and 43 seconds. And now that we have the Storm Badge, we can chat to Chuck's wife who will give us the Fly HM. Fly will let us get back to the Lake of Rage where we have to take on the Red Gyarados. Because of Gyarados' stat distribution, this is actually one of the trickier battles we'll encounter in this run. So we start off with a Future Sight and then Gyarados starts thrashing about. Future Sight and Hidden Power combine though to knock it out, surviving on 20 HP, and we get the Red Scale. Defeating the Gyarados lets us chat with Lance the Liar, who tells us about the shenanigans going on underneath Mahogany Town, but nothing interesting happened of course, so we'll skip to the end where Lance gives us Budget Whirlpool, and we'll go into our next gym. This one is our 6th gym together, it's Price's Ice-type gym, and he will lead with that not Ice-type Pokemon Seal. Now we have the type disadvantage here in this gym, so we've got to be very careful. We start off with a Future Sight against the Seal to try and do decent damage to the Dugong, because Future Sight's damage is calculated at the time of using the move, not when the move actually activates. That allows us to get onto the Dugong, and the Dugong goes to sleep because it's in healing range. We grow to level 39 and the final Pokemon is Piloswine. Piloswine sets up Mist on the first turn and then starts Fury attacking us. Blizzard misses, but we get him deep into healing range. We get very lucky as poor Price cannot land a move off. That means we survive on 85 HP and get the Glacier Badge in a time of 46 minutes and 3 seconds. And with 6 badges to our name, we're now going to do our regular sweep up of bits that we need to pick up around the Johto region. We'll start off by going back to Violet City where we'll pick up the rare candy. We'll go into Azalea Town and the Slowpoke Well where we have a King's Rock with our name on it. And after that it's going to be a trip into Goldenrod City. The first thing we'll do in Goldenrod City is go into the department store and pick up the Return TM. That is a very powerful normal type move and will be a huge upgrade over Swift. And while we're here, we'll pick up the rare candy and the nugget just south of the daycare. But that's all the bits and bobs we need to pick up for now, so let's head back to Olivine City and ascend the lighthouse once more and give the secret potion to Jasmine. I'm still convinced that there's something fishy going on with Jasmine. We're going to have to do some more investigation in some live streams, but for now let's head into the gym and take on Jasmine herself. This is our 7th gym leader together. She's a steel type specialist and she leads with Magnemite. The Magnemite line really is our Achilles heel in this run, so we're just going to have to grit our teeth and persevere. We dodged the paralysis on Magnemite number 1, but we do get Parafusion from Magnemite number 2. In a good stroke of fortune though, we take off over half health on the Steelix with Hidden Power Ice. We don't hit ourselves in confusion, we don't get paralysed, and we get her badge in a time of 49 minutes and 39 seconds. Goodness me, that was a very, very smooth Jasmine fight considering all the odds were stacked against us. Let's see if we can carry on this momentum as we take on the 4th and penultimate rival battle of the run. He's going to lead with Golbat, and that means we can use Hidden Power straight away to knock it out in one shot. Here comes a pesky Magnemite once more though, and once again we are paralysed. We get through the Magnemite and we're onto the Sneasel, and unfortunately for us, our luck seems to have run out. We are taking a lot of damage from Sneasel and we're already down to 43 HP. We don't have enough health left, and we have no option but to take an early reset against the Feraligatr. We're through the Golbat once more though, and we're back onto that pesky Magnemite. Hidden Power deals a lot of damage, and we managed to dodge the paralysis, and this is putting us in much better stead for this battle. We get to Swifting the Sneasel and take off just over half health. A feint attack deals little damage to us, and we're back onto the Feraligatr. We get a very lucky critical hit with Swift to take it into the yellow, and another couple of Swifts knocks it out. And the final Pokemon is Haunter. Hidden Power's now strong enough to one-shot, so we knock it out, and we get through the rival on our third attempt. We can take out of the rest of the rocket shenanigans in the radio tower and climb to the very top where the director gives us some item that we're never going to use. However, our reward for defeating the radio tower is more than that. We'll get the pink bow off Marie. We'll get the Sunny Day TM in case we decide to use some solar beam strategies a little bit later on, and then we'll make our way onto the first floor of the radio tower, where of course we'll grab the radio card. Now I want to know, are those two people in the radio tower twins? The radio card lady and the Sunny Day lady have exactly the same sprites. Maybe there's something going on there that we need to investigate further. But now that Goldenrod City is finished, we'll make our way into the ice path, picking up the Waterfall HM, and we'll also use this opportunity to replace Swift with Return. Swift has done us very well for the first half of the run, but now we have to have a little bit more of the attacking chops about us. We'll also go and grab the Nevermelt Ice in the ice path because of Hidden Power Ice, and that will see us in very good stead for our next gym battle. Because our next gym leader is Claire. She is the Dragon-type specialist of this region, and she will lead with Dragonair. So Hidden Power Ice should make this an incredibly easy battle. We knock out the first Dragonair in one shot with no issue whatsoever. She tries again with Dragonair number 2, and it's much of a muchness. Out comes number 3, and it's exactly the same. That just leaves the Kingdra left to go. We set up Future Sight in anticipation of a heal later on. We hit it with 2 hidden powers as she surfs. She's in healing range, but the Future Sight hits, and we knock out the Kingdra to get Claire's badge in a time of 1 hour, 6 minutes and 4 seconds. And with that, we have all 8 Johtonian gym badges acquired, so we can start surfing east towards Victory Road, picking up the rare candy en route. And because Victory Road itself doesn't have any trainers at all, we're going to start beating some up on the routes there instead. We gain a total of 2 levels on the routes to Victory Road, and we replace Peck with Confuse Ray. But now that we're in Victory Road proper, there's only one thing standing in between us and the League. It's our 5th and final rival battle. The rival really has put up a lot of resistance for us throughout the course of this run. However, the Sneasel goes down in one shot this time, and we're back onto that pesky Magnemite. We still have nothing great for Magnemite, and that allows us to get paralysed once more. We're just going to have to brute force it and hope for the best as we're on 78 HP for the rest of the battle. We managed to one-shot the Golbat, and out comes Haunter. Haunter uses Shadow Ball to take us down to 30, and we have no choice but to reset once more. This time we use Future Sight on turn 1 against the Sneasel to try and deal some damage towards this Magneton. The Magneton flinches with the King's Rock and takes the damage with the Future Sight, and that's what we needed to get through without being paralysed. The rest of the battle is going to be significantly easier now, because we can Hidden Power away both the Golbat and the Haunter. Out comes Kadabra, we use another Hidden Power for a one-shot, and the final Pokemon is Feraligatr. We use Return against the Feraligatr to take it into the yellow, we get a King's Rock flinch, and we knock it out on turn 2, and we get through the rival in a time of 1 hour, 12 minutes and 39 seconds. And now that we are through the nonsense of Victory Road, we'll heal up, and we'll say thank you to our HM friends. It's thank you to Kenya, to Abra, to Psyduck, and merci to Paris. You'll get a lovely bit of rest while Xatu takes on the League. Before we go there though, we're going to pick up our 4 full restores. We'll either need them or we won't, and we'll take a look at our stats of Xatu before taking on our first trainer. We are level 53 with 164 HP. We're holding the King's Rock, and our moves are Hidden Power Ice, Future Sight, Confuse Ray and Return. We have 121 in attack, 112 in defense, 145 in special attack, 119 in special defense, and 140 in speed. So let's see if those stats are enough to take us through the league as we engage our first league member, Will, in battle. He's a Psychic-type trainer just like us, and he also led with Xatu. Our Xatu knocked it out in one shot with Hidden Power, and we've already knocked out the Jinx as well. Out comes Xatu number 2, and we get a little bit of prep work done for taking out the Slowbro. So we use a Confuse Ray followed by Future Sight, and then we're going to whack it with a Hidden Power Ice. That takes care of the Xatu in one shot, and its special defense is significantly lower than the Slowbro. The Slowbro gets hit by the Future Sight and we can finish it off with Return. Up next is Executor. We swap back to Hidden Power Ice, we one-shot it, and that is Will, all done and dusted in a time of 1 hour 14 minutes and 10 seconds. Let's keep this momentum going up for Koga. Koga leads with Ariados and we use Hidden Power to take it into the yellow. He double teams but Return hits to knock it out in 2 shots. Up next is Fortress. We use Future Sight on turn 1 to guarantee some big damage later on, and then we confuse the Fortress. The plan here is to stall until Future Sight hits so it doesn't go boom. The plan gets executed perfectly and we're on to the Golbat. Hidden Power Ice is super effective against the Golbat and we get a very lucky flinch. He gets caught in a healing loop and we outspeed the Golbat, so it's 2 shots with Return to knock it out, and that brings us on to Venomoth. Venomoth is an easy 1-shot with Return and his final Pokemon is Muck. We use Return against the Muck as it minimalizes, but we hit through the evasion once more to knock it out, and we're through Koga in a time of 1 hour 15 minutes and 9 seconds. And our next challenge is Bruno, a fighting type specialist who leads with old spinny legs. He gets a critical hit with Quick Attack on turn 1 and hits us for some extra damage on turn 2, but we're on 139 HP as the Onix comes out. We said goodbye to that with Hidden Power Ice and we're on to Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan of course has Ice Punch and it's not going to be a one-shot, but his special attack is so terrible that we're still in the green even after a critical hit. Out comes the Machamp and we confuse it to try and stop it hitting us as much as we can. We also get a very lucky flinch with Return, and his final Pokemon then is Hitmonlee. It's a one-shot with Return with Hitmonlee to knock it out, and we are through Bruno in a time of 1 hour 15 minutes and 57 seconds. And now we have the real test, it's Karen time. Karen of course is a dark type specialist and leads with Umbreon. However, we do seem to get a lot of decent luck against Karen in the beginning of the battle. We hit through our confusion and get a critical hit on the Umbreon. Umbreon hurts itself in confusion and we knock it out in 2 shots. We get an instant huge whack of damage against the Murkrow and take care of that with a Return as well, and we're on to the Houndoom. We don't one-shot the Houndoom and get taken into the yellow as she gets caught in a healing loop, and we critical hit to knock it out in 1 further hit. Here comes Gengar. We've only got Hidden Power for Gengar as it swears at us to knock itself out, and her final Pokemon is Vileplume. Vileplume's a one-shot with Hidden Power to get through Karen in a time of 1 hour 16 minutes and 49 seconds. That was as smooth as the league could go. Let's try and keep this momentum up against Lance the Liar with the Flyers, who leads with Gyarados. Gyarados is free as we get yet another King's Rock flinch with Return. That means we can take care of it in 2 shots and he sends out the first of 3 Dragonite. Our high special attack and 4 times super effective Hidden Power Ice makes mincemeat of both of the Dragonite. They're both easy one-shots and he sends out Aerodactyl. We outspeed the Aerodactyl, but we don't quite one-shot it, and we take a little bit of damage from the Rock Slide. We knock it out on our second turn and we get flamethrowered by the Charizard. We finish off the Charizard with Return and he's only got a Dragonite left to go. The 4 times weakness comes into play again as we knock it out and we get through Lance in a time of 1 hour 17 minutes and 52 seconds. Our Hall of Fame time is 1 hour 18 minutes and 8 seconds, and barring the rival battles, Xatu has had an incredibly smooth ride through this run. It could all change though, because we've got another 8 badges and the red fight still left to come, so don't you dare go anywhere because Kanto is next. And we're back where it all began outside our home in New Town, where Professor Elm has a phone call for us. He wants to get us out of the country so he can conspire with Jasmine, so he gives us the SS tickets. That's going to allow us to get to Kanto proper, but before we do that, we've got to retrieve some friends. So it's a warm welcome back to Kenya, to Abra, to Psyduck, and beyond Venue to Paris. They've had a lovely little trip to the Costa del PC box, and before we head to the boat, we're going to pick up the final 2 rare candies that we're missing from the Johto region. The first one is in Mount Mortar and requires Waterfall, and the second one is in the Whirl Islands. But with those 2 safely in our bag, we'll do a hop, skip and a jump and end up in Kanto. And of course, the first thing we do in Kanto is the last thing we do in Johto. We're going to get another rare candy, this time from the chairman of the Pokemon Fan Club. And with that safely tucked away with the rest of our rare candies, we'll cycle up to Saffron City and head into Mr. Psychic's house. Mr. Psychic knows exactly what we want and gives us the TM4 Psychic, which we'll teach a little bit later on if we need to. But in the meantime, we're going to cycle west into Celadon City and pick up a couple of bits and bobs before taking on Erica. We'll grab the leftovers from the bin, we'll get the PP up from the bush, and now it's time to engage her in battle. She's our 9th gym leader together, a grass type specialist who leads with Tangela. Tangela goes down in one shot because it's very frail, as does the Jumpluff, having the 4x weakness to Hidden Power Ice. She tries again with Blossom, but that doesn't survive because of our huge special attack, and neither does the Victory Bell. 4 easy one-shots for Erica in a time of 1 hour 22 minutes and 24 seconds. Up next in our Gym Leader Gauntlet is Misty. She's a Water-type specialist who leads with Golduck. Golduck comes out and we use Return to take it deep into the red. Surf does very little in return and we KO it on our second turn. Out comes the Lapras. We confuse the Lapras and it hurts itself in confusion, and then we hit it with Return. That takes it into the yellow. She uses Rain Dance to boost her Water-type moves for the rest of this battle. Out comes the Starmie and we deal huge damage with Return, but we take a little bit of damage from that boosted Surf. Her final Pokemon is Quagsire, who wastes a turn with Amnesia. We knock it out in 2 shots, and we're through Misty in a time of 1 hour 26 minutes and 51 seconds. Here comes Sabrina. It's Psychic-type Trainer versus Psychic-type Trainer. She leads with that pesky Espeon, and Hidden Power doesn't quite one-shot. I really should have used Return against the Espeon, but I think it would have been a 2-shot either way. We swap to Return for the Mr. Mime and take care of that in 1 hit, and we do exactly the same against the Alakazam. We're through Sabrina in a time of 1 hour 27 minutes and 32 seconds. Let's now take on Surge and hold the Paralyzed Cure Berry just in case of that pesky Magneton. Before we get to the Magneton though, we have to deal with the Raichu, and we take a risk by taking a Thunder. That lets us set up a Future Sight for the Magneton as we take care of the Raichu in 2 hits. Magneton takes huge damage from the Future Sight, and we can finish it off with a single Return. Up next is Electabuzz. Electabuzz doesn't stand a chance as we one-shot it with Return, and all he's got left is a pair of pesky Electrode. Electrode number 1 gets knocked out with a single Return, Electrode number 2 follows suit, and that means we're through Surge on our first attempt in a time of 1 hour 29 minutes and 6 seconds. Here comes Brock, the Rock-type specialist. We have 2 gyms back-to-back where we have the type disadvantage, so it's going to be a bit of a struggle here against Brock, especially because I didn't teach Giga Drain. However, that is part of a plan for a little bit later on in this run. We're just going to have to brute force our way through both of the fossil Pokemon. The rock ground Pokemon are completely irrelevant, they're weak to ice. It's just the Kabutops left to go. We're just going to keep returning this thing until it gets knocked out. A critical hit Surf does next to nothing at all, and even with an Endure, we knock it out in a very good time of 1 hour 30 minutes and 36 seconds. That Brock fight was a little bit longer than it would have been with Giga Drain, but I think having the higher PP definitely helps out here. We're now going to cycle and surf all the way down to Cinnabar Island, where Blue is waiting for us. He's going to tell us about the volcano that horribly erupted, taking out all of Cinnabar. It was my favourite place in Kanto, so I am very upset about this. We can't linger for too long though, because we have another gym leader waiting for us. This time it is Blaine, the former Cinnabar gym leader, now located in the Seafoam Islands, and he leads with Magcargo. We set up a Future Sight against the Magcargo as Rock Slide barely tickles us. We confuse it as well just to add insult to injury with Hit It with a Return, as he hits us for another Rock Slide and gets knocked out by the Future Sight. And the rest of this battle is relatively simple. It's a one-shot on the Bumhead Fireduck, and then we trap the Rapidash into a healing loop, and that means we can knock it out in just 3 further hits. And that means we've defeated Blaine and got a time of 1 hour 32 minutes and 21 seconds for the Boulder Badge. Up next is everybody's favourite pushover, it's Janine, and poor Janine will not stand a chance in this battle. The first 4 of her Pokemon are going to be very, very easy one-shots. We take care of the Crobats, the Ariados, and the pair of Weezings, all with a combination of Hidden Power and Return. That brings us on to her final Venomoth. She uses a dire hit and the Venomoth just about clings on. We use our final Hidden Power and we get the option to learn Psychic via Level Up. We replace Hidden Power with Psychic and we get through Janine in a time of 1 hour 33 minutes and 12 seconds. And this brings us to our final gym leader, it's Blue time, and he leads with Pidgeot. We give Psychic a good old road test against the Pidgeot and take it deep into the red. Wing Attack barely tickles us and we are on to the Rhydon. Rhydon, as we know, has no special defense at all, so it's an easy one hit. So here comes Alakazam. We've still got a physical attack with Return, so that's another easy one hit, and we're back to the Psychic for the Gyarados. He uses Rain Dance and doesn't heal up, so it's an easy 2-shot, and he has wasted his turn. Because it's raining, the Arcanine has to use Extreme Speed, but we get a lucky critical hit to deal with it in a single hit, and his final Pokemon is Executor. We start chipping away at it with return and get him caught in a healing loop. He uses a full restore to take him back up to full health, but then gets locked into Solar Beam. That lets us knock it out in 3 further hits, and we get our final gym badge in a time of 1 hour 34 minutes and 28 seconds. And with that, there is just one challenge left to go. We have to defeat Red, so we'll go to Pallet Town and unlock Mount Silver. And with a time of 1 hour and 35 minutes on the clock, let me know, how fast do you think we're going to defeat Red? Is it going to be one of those struggles at Red, or are we going to get through very quickly? We could easily make it under 2 hours, maybe even under 1 hour 45 minutes. Get your predictions down as I tell you this is Red. He's a mixed type trainer who leads with Pikachu, and it's a one shot on the Pikachu with Psychic, so we don't have to worry about it. Up next is Blastoise. Blastoise rain dances as we set up a future sight, and then we confuse it to try and dodge the blizzard. We hit it with Psychic and he hits himself in confusion, the future sight hits, the Psychic hits, and we are through one of the biggest threats. Espeon's the third Pokemon to come out and we instantly confuse it. The plan here is to try and chip away as much as we can while dodging as many attacks as we can too. He manages to land a critical hit Psychic, but we're still well in the green as the Snorlax comes out. We set up a future sight so that we can take advantage of Snorlax's lower special defense at the start of the battle. We then confuse it and start chipping away, and this is some of the best luck we have ever had at Red. Snorlax does not get a chance to hit, and we knock it out without taking any damage at all, and we're almost at full health for the Charizard. We start the confusion again, and once again he hits himself in confusion. We hit it with Psychic, and finally Red gets a hit off as Flamethrower lands. It's all over for the Charizard though, as Psychic knocks it out and there's only one Pokemon left. It's Venusaur, it's weak to Psychic, we've got huge special attack, he takes in the sunlight, and we are through Red on our first try for only the second time ever. And that means our final Red time is 1 hour 37 minutes and 22 seconds. Goodness me, we had an awful lot of luck there at the final Red battle, but the risky strategy paid off. I knew it was going to be a risk-keeping future sight the entirety of the run, but we get a well-deserved 13th place in between Furret and Noctowl for Xatu. And I think it's quite fitting that both the Pokemon with 0 resets at Red are next to each other on the leaderboard. That does mean that the top of the leaderboard stays completely unchanged. It's still Kangaskhan, Aipom and Charizard on the podium, and Venusaur is next to go in the drop zone. But the leaderboard isn't quite done yet, and for the first time in a very long time, Macargo is sitting proudly at the top of a page. And normally here I would say, and with that we're done, but don't you dare go anywhere, more Kanto is coming next. Now you might be wondering, what on earth is going on here? We've done the run, we've finished it, we've got the leaderboard time, what on earth is all this about? Well, there was a very obvious strategy staring us in the face the entire Kanto run. We didn't teach the Psychic TM and we didn't teach Giga Drain, and I was curious, just for a bit of fun, would we have been able to record a better time with that? So we get the ticket from Professor Elm, we get Psychic from Mr. Psychic, and we teach it over Future Sight straight away. And now let's go through the Gym Leader Gauntlet as quickly as we can. We're still going to show the full battles because that's something I'm very passionate about here on this channel. We're always going to show the battles from start to finish, and we are treating this just as if it was our first run through Kanto. Erika is much of a muchness because Hidden Power Ice is perfect for her, and then we teach Giga Drain for Misty. Let's see if Giga Drain speeds up the Misty battle. We one-shot the Golduck with Giga Drain, and that brings us on to her pesky Lapras. Giga Drain is only base 60 power though, and Giga Drain isn't a one-shot, so she still sets up the Rain Dance and we move on to the Starmie. Starmie puts up no resistance whatsoever as we Giga Drain it away, and her final Pokemon is Quagsire. Quagsire is 4 times weak to grass, so goes away straight away, and we get through Misty. Of course, the next gym leader is going to be Sabrina. Sabrina, of course, the Psychic type specialist who leads with Espeon, and we do the Hidden Power strat once more. This time Sand Attack fails, so we're on full accuracy for the rest of the battle, but we don't have a physical move. That works in our favour against the Mr. Mime because she cannot baton pass it, but we run very low on PP against the Alakazam. We do manage to knock it out and we're through Sabrina in a time of 1 hour 29 minutes and 6 seconds, and here comes Surge. Surge leads with Raichu and Psychic easily takes care of that in one shot. I was very surprised that Magneton wasn't bulky enough to resist the Psychic, but we do have almost 200 in special attack in this battle. It's a very clean sweep from there on out for the rest of this battle, as Electabuzz and the pair of Electrode also get knocked out with a single Psychic each. We get the Thunder Badge in a time of 1 hour 30 minutes and 27 seconds. Here comes Brock, and this fight is an awful lot smoother. Brock's 5 Pokemon all have a 4 times weakness to grass type moves, so it's goodbye to Graveler, and then Omastar tries stalling us with Protect. It's no use for him though, as we one-shot on the very next turn. Here comes Onix and we swap to Hidden Power just so that we have enough grass PP for the rest of this battle. We go back to Giga Drain for the Rhydon, and it's another easy one hit. The final Pokemon is Kabutops, and we get through this battle an awful lot smoother this time. Time of 1 hour 31 minutes and 39 seconds. Let's move all the way to Blaine with his Magcargo. We use Psychic against the Magcargo and it's a one-shot once more. The Bumphead Fire Duck comes out and doesn't survive a Psychic either, and neither does the Rapidash. At the moment, this strategy seems to be paying dividends because every single gem battle is much smoother, and that's absolutely not going to change with everyone's favourite pushover Janine. All of her Pokemon are weak to Psychic type moves, and that means it's going to be 5 easy one-shots. We're still going to grow to level 65 off the back of this battle, but the big difference is we are not going to have to teach Psychic because we already did it via TM instead. And you might have noticed she actually sent out her Pokemon in a completely different order this time. Didn't matter though, we still got through that in a time of 1 hour 33 minutes and 51 seconds. Let's now move back to Blue. This is a final gym leader for the second time in this run, and he leads of course with Pidgeot. We try Hidden Power Ice against the Pidgeot this time and it's still not quite a one-shot, but he does exactly the same as he did last time with a Wing Attack. Here comes Rhydon, and this time we're going to Giga Drain it because it's 4 times super effective, and we easily knock it out and get back to full health. Now we don't have a physical move for the Alakazam. This is the only real issue in this battle, but it's still 2 shots to knock it out, and up next is Gyarados. We use Psychic against the Gyarados to take it out in 1 critical hit, so he sends out Arcanine. Psychic deals good damage against the Arcanine and manages to get him trapped in a healing loop. This time though, Blue uses both full restores. That slows this battle down just a little bit, but we're still able to get through the Arcanine on full health, and his final Pokemon is Executor. We've got Hidden Power Ice for the Executor, so we take it deep into the red on turn 1. He uses a Leech Seed, which doesn't matter, and we knock it out on turn 2, and we are through Blue in a time of 1:35.19. Let's now jump straight to Red and see if this set of moves does any better than last time. So once again, this is Red, the final obstacle of the run, and he leads with Pikachu. We use Psychic against the Pikachu and it turns out it was a range the entire time. That gets Red in another healing loop and it's looking like we're not going to beat our original time. For curiosity's sake though, we're going to keep persevering as if this was our first run with Xatu, and as if this was the first set of Red battles. So we're through the Blastoise now at 116 HP, and out comes the Espeon. This Espeon was part of the reason why I wanted to keep a physical move on our learn set the entire time. We are really struggling against it, and he is able to chip away at us quite spectacularly. He also gets a special defense drop against us, and it's good night and thank you for living. Let's go up to level 69 and try it again. This time it's an easy one-shot on the Pikachu. We are out of the damage range. We hit the Blastoise with a Psychic and we get a special defense drop, so it's just 2 hits and we're on full health for the Espeon once more. We carry on with Psychic against the Espeon and it takes roughly a quarter damage off each time. We're surviving his Psychics much better this time, and I think we'll be able to see the Snorlax. However, once again he got a pesky special defense drop. Let's see how we do against the Snorlax. We try and confuse it, but he doesn't hit himself this time. That means he gets an Amnesia off, and this battle has suddenly become very difficult. Future Sight really did help us out because we could chip away with his lower stats in special defense. And then we keep taking huge damage from Body Slam, we get knocked out, so let's try again, this time at level 72. Psychic's still a one-shot on the Pikachu, and Blastoise is getting less and less relevant with each set of rare candies we use. I think this set of battles though is showing us just how much luck can play into a run, especially when you have a risky strategy like we used in the very first Red fight. While I was editing the first part of this run, I thought, oh, this strategy might get us onto the front page. However, as you can see, the riskiest strategy can sometimes pay off. We are still struggling against the Espeon, and this Snorlax is just a wall. We try confusing it, but he still gets the Amnesia off. We try Giga Draining, and it's still no use. Body Slam is hitting us very hard, and he eventually gets the knockout. We're going to use all our rare candies. We are now at level 76. Pikachu is out of there like it is every single time. We're back onto the Blastoise and Giga Drain deals just under half health damage. On turn 2 though, Psychic doesn't quite finish it off, but we dodge the Blizzard and KO with a final Giga Drain. We're back onto the pesky Espeon. We use Hidden Power Ice to deal roughly a quarter damage. We persevere with the Hidden Power and get a lucky critical hit, but he gets some luck in return as he gets the Spadef drop off his own Psychic. We're back onto the Snorlax. Snorlax goes straight for Body Slam instead of Amnesia, and that means we can hit him for a lot of damage with Psychic. He finally hits himself in Confusion and we get a lucky critical hit to get rid of the Snorlax. We are now making progress once more. Psychic's a 2-shot on the Charizard as Flamethrower takes us deep into the red. We finish it off though, and the final Pokemon is Venusaur. He once again goes for Solar Beam though, and that is the end we needed. We finish it off, and we are through red in a time of 1 hour 42 minutes and 3 seconds. So we didn't beat our original time, and that would have put us in 21st place on the leaderboard, in between Alakazam and Jinx. But with that, we are now actually done. So I'm going to say thank you all so much for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. If you enjoyed this run, please do leave it a like. If you want to see more content just like this, then click the subscribe button. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/trainersquidgy. And until next time, I'll say thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon.